wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the 2025 European Carcassonne Team Online Championship. It's going to be an exciting weekend, very tightly packed format, 9 matches, or up to 9 broadcasts in just 2 days. We have 19 teams gathered to compete for the title. Half of them you can see on the screen. I will scroll down to see the other ones a little bit later. So the format is pretty straightforward. Today we have 5 matches of the group stage. You can see first of all the 10 teams here, and then another 9 teams over here. So there are 5 groups of 5 teams and 3 groups of 5 teams and 2 groups of 4 teams. So for one group, it could be a little bit easier for the players, for the teams to qualify. And the top 2 from each group are going to make it to the playoffs. The playoffs are tomorrow, usual format, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. And the format of the matches is also quite usual as well. So they're played 5-on-5 duels. Each duel is played against best of 3. The team that wins the most duels wins the match. So very straightforward stuff. One thing which is a bit unusual about this championship, if we go for the teams, is that there can be up to 15 players per team, which is greater than the normal 10-player limit at the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship. But of course, a maximum of 5 players per match. So there's going to be more variety of players in between matches, and it will be quite exciting to see how captains approach. How they're going to rotate the team. Will they keep the core players the same, or will they prefer variety? The teams that we're gonna first look at are Latvia and Romania. Those have a very long history, of course, very strong teams. They have made the semifinals of the World and the European Championships several times. This is true for both of these teams. And Latvia, in fact, played Romania in the European Championships in 2021, I believe, and Latvia won that bronze medal match. So Romania will be looking to get revenge for that for sure. So let's have a look at the lineups real quick before we start. Wait. Am I doing this wrong? Yes, am I doing this wrong? Sorry, actually, I didn't scroll down. Here you can see the teams. Again. Let me just leave this on the screen for a couple of seconds. I'll be with you in a couple of seconds. And now I can show you the lineups. So on table 1 we have Jonut Nikoli playing against Kriškaučis, the reigning Latvian champion, the player with a peak rating of over 800, the 2024 Mind Sports Olympiad gold medalist. But Jonut actually has developed quite strongly. If I recall correctly, he placed 3rd at the recent Romanian national championships a month ago, despite 2 former world championships being in the field. And I've witnessed some of his games in person, so Krishna should definitely not get complacent here. Table 2 is by far the most interesting. The 2019 world champion Marian Curcan, with the screen name Mars 15, is going to be playing the new Latvian captain Jānis Ansens, with the screen name Nepamai. Jānis's main achievement is probably achieving the top 8 in the Carcassonne Champions League. in 2025, so a player who is in very good shape. On table 3, we have a Romanian player with a screen name Reno 100, who's new to the team and I don't know them. They're going to be playing against Uldis Ozolinch with a screen name Dirty Old Town. So I expect Uldis here to be the favorite due to his previous experience on the team. And table 4 is going to be our featured table, and there's a reason why I want to first you show table 4 then table 2. Game Over, that is the brother of Marian Curcan, Bogdan Curcan, who is the reigning vice champion of Romania and the reigning bronze medalists of the world, will be playing Norbert Strautinch, who looks like he's not very high rated. It's only 452, but in fact his peak rating in the past is higher than Bogdan's. It is one of the 4 Latvian masters, and they were instrumental in achieving Latvia's 3rd place of the World Team Carcassonne Championship in 2023. So I would expect this to be a tight encounter nonetheless. Now, the rating of Norbert suggests that they might be out of shape, or it could suggest that they maybe don't play that many tournament games and have been practicing in lower stakes casual games. And finally, table 5 should also be pretty interesting. Well, I'm not sure if they're the captain now, but at least the former captain of Team Romania at the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, Mihnea Niculescu, is going to be playing against Egita Seglenia with the screen name Apple G. This one I'm not going to show because both players are very, very fast, and this one I expect to be done in like 15 minutes. I'm not sure who's going to win, but we'll just check in on the result later. So I'm going to start with Game Over versus Norbert, and then for dessert we're going to leave Mars 15 versus Napalm Eye, because both players, and especially Napalm Eye, are known to take their time. So by the time when Norbert's and Game Over finish their match, I expect that Napalm Eye and Mars 15 are still going to be playing. Hi Ritichai, thank you so much for wishing good luck to my team. Oh yes, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm also on Team Latvia this year, except I'm not lined up for this match or the next one, but I will be playing later today against RCP and against Hungary. Yeah, so we're gonna have a duel against Kissimo. So whilst I'm not playing, I'm going to be delivering you some commentary, and this is going to be very, very one-sided. I warn you in advance. So, Norbert is starting with the red meeples, and okay, we get the starting player advantage. This is very, very good. 4% at least statistical chance extra compared to our opponent. We meeple the monastery. Bogdan with green meeples gets the road, and I like the road placement. It looks a bit counterintuitive, but it's the road placement. Oh, so you see what Bogdan is doing. He's kind of trying to mitigate the effect of the monastery. Like these 2 features, the main accomplishment of these 2 features is that it killed off 2 potential monastery squares. So if red were to draw another monastery, they cannot productively go for a stacking approach. There is, of course, a nice monastery spot available here, and that's actually a mistake from Bogdan. I don't think it's a very strong move, precisely because of this. So Bogdan should have started a city over here. Well, that's interesting. So the purpose of this move was to kill off this monastery square, right? And now we can see that Norberts cannot place a monastery over here. But what Norberts can do is create a vulnerability against this Bogdan's meeple. So this meeple can get in a lot of trouble real soon. Nevertheless, it is Bogdan who's first on the scoreboard with 4 points for his road, and he has now equalize the monastery of Norbert. So in fact, Bogdan has a slightly better position. Now, of course, this meeple is very vulnerable, but there's still 3 tiles that fit into this square. Norbert with a Dorito tile as Bogdan is starting a new city. Equalizes the city cap, which is a reasonable thing to do. Now a quick point tile available for a game over, but of course he's not going to go here and score 2 points. He does not want to expose the vulnerability next to this square. He just starts a new road, potentially eyeing 4 points for a ring road. So what could Norbert do in response? My first instinct is to go here. This is the standard tactic for disrupting your opponent loop's road. The disadvantage is that I would be continuing Green's monastery, and I don't really want to do that. And so I really like Norbert's choice. He's starting a 2-point road of his own, of course, looking to continue his road and also block this meeple, which is exactly what is going to happen. But even if Bogdan were to draw some sort of defense tile like a curve, then it would pre-build nicely this 2-point road, what, not 2-point road, but like a 7-point road or a 6-point road through this here area. None of that is going to be necessary. Bogdan is going to lose his meeple for 1 point, and Norbert should have the advantage in this position there. And look at what Bogdan is doing. He's playing this very, very aggressively because he knows that his meeple disadvantage in the long term is going to cost him. And he's trying to play a bit riskier than normal, placing his last meeple on the monastery, hoping to score as much as he can with meeple that he can retrieve back to his hands, so that later he has enough of a buffer on the scoreboard that he can withstand the meeple disadvantage. On this particular board, a meeple disadvantage is not such a big deal. It is kind of very closed and clunky, but eventually what's going to happen? City caps are going to be drawn, and fields are going to appear. And Norbert, the player with the meeple majority, is the one who's going to be claiming most of his fields. Game over, gets himself 4 more points for a city, gets a meeple back. So does Norbert. And he also gets his points on the board. Game over now. Has a wonderful tile to consolidate his position next to the monasteries. And it makes me think, maybe, instead of going for this move, maybe Norbert should have gone for this, actually. And restrict this square towards a 50-50. And not allow Bogdan to consolidate so easily. And you know what? Given the fact that Green already lost 1 meeple, losing another 2 potentially, and kind of having his coordination disrupted here would have been exceptionally annoying for Green. So maybe Norbert's, whilst playing a completely reasonable move, missed an option to be a bit more creative. Still a reasonable position for Red. Continuing the road, that was going to be taking advantage from these here road segments, and Bogdan finally consolidates, gets 4 more points, starts a new city. So a quite solid position for Green. And my judgment is that Green has already amassed enough compensation for the lost meeple. So Norbert is going to need to do some scoring now. But how exactly do we do that? So first of all, this tile is not like the best tile in the world. Yeah, this move makes a lot of sense. Bogdan gets the last starting tile in the deck, so my idea would not have worked anyway, as Bogdan would have placed it over here and freed up his meeple. This does not change the fact that I do still stand by idea, as it works with a high probability. Norbert now attacking a shared city, looking to score some points. There's still 8 Dorito tiles in the deck that would allow this connection and get Red 10 or even 12 points. Now, Green does not get any tile to remedy this, but at the very least, he's trying to get himself some compensation with this 4-point road, looking for a 4-point loop, and looking for a 4-point loop. No, looking for a 6-point loop, which was just disrupted by red like this. Quite interesting move from Bogdan here. He's trying to block the square. In fact, he successfully blocked the square because, as I told you before, all 4 starting tiles are on the board. And this was with the intention of trapping Norbert's meeple. But Norbert gets the crossroads to separate himself from the danger segment on the road. And finally, the play with the red meeples is the first on the field. This is how you leverage the long-term meeple advantage. It's a beautiful field with 2 cities already completed on it, a 3rd city potentially waiting to happen, and an abundance of green squares for further development. Now, a move that Norbert absolutely needs to find over here, despite there being many temptations, like this is, for example, is a reasonable move, developing his monastery, dropping a city cap in his field, putting a pressure on the square, but Norbert does find what I think is by far the best move, except that, of course, this move needed to be placed without a meeple. But the idea with this move is that it drops some city cap, which in what's going to be Norbert's field, and it also creates unpleasant pressure on this square. In fact, there was a threat of full block. A straight line for red. And red does not find a good use for it, but Norbert gets a splitter and averts a 10-point city for Norbert. Still, Norbert gets 2 meeples back. Bogdan gets back only 1. The red's field is now growing. Now the position looks very good for red again. And I guess the move that we have to play now as Norbert is to just get on this 12-point field. Maybe not that. I can understand why he'd do that, though. I think his idea is that he wants to try and restrict this little green guy. But if I were Norbert, I would just go here somewhere and try to claim a second 12-point field. I think as red, we shouldn't really be too concerned about blocking. We should be more concerned about just dropping more meeples on the field. Okay, so it's a wonderful tile for Norbert. I wonder how he's going to use it. He has several possible uses, as Bogdan does score 4 points and expand his 6-point field into a 12-point field. Yes, so this is the most natural way to use this tile. It finishes a road, starts a new city, threatens 6 points, and also threatens a complete block of this road. So I wonder how Bogdan's supposed to respond to this. Maybe like this? And Bogdan doesn't bother. Okay, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. If Bogdan's not going to be protecting his meeple, yep, he had to go over here. He had to score 4 points over here. Because look at this. Now Norbert can do this and block even 1 more meeple of game over. Whereas had game over taken quick points here, this could have been averted. Now my worry is that after these blocks, the farming opportunities are not that great for red, and maybe red will not be able to fully leverage his meeple advantage. So ideally what Norbert wants to do, he wants to draw a city cap, finish a city, drop a farmer, and then draw something like a road monastery to connect all the fields, create a big field with 5 completed cities on it, and just win. He continues his monastery, which is a reasonable move to make. Oh, and very savvy move here by game over. Instead of making the natural move and getting himself a meeple back, he recognizes that he is able to perform a permanent block. There is actually no tile that fits into this square, as all of these tiles have been spent. But Norbert's now, I think, is being just unnecessarily subtle. I think a slightly stronger move would have been finishing this city and dropping a farmer. Instead, he chooses to take 4 points like this, which is quite interesting. So he wants to be super, super efficient with point scoring. I'm not sure if that's super necessary. Like, if, as Norbert, I guess all I want to do is just finish the city and drop a farmer. But I also can understand Red. I think his idea is that he wants to, you know, do the thing that I was suggesting later. And then here he's going to go on another 6-point field and try to claim even a super majority on a larger field with all these completed cities. So let's see how Bogdan responds. He doesn't really have a good move to do that. That move is interesting. It is very, very creative. So he drops his last meeple on the farm. With the idea that he can get a meeple back from the monastery. It's actually quite fortunate for Bogdan to have gotten a meeple back immediately. So what is Norbert going to do now? He has 3 options. Number 1 is just make a natural city continuing move here. Number 2, we claim the city cap and start one more city, and this is what he does. Although my concern is that we are kind of running out of city caps a little bit. And look at game over. He is not even bothering to score 3 quick points. He's actually connecting all the fields. And now he has a majority on this field of 2 versus 0. Yeah, so I'm starting to get concerned that Norbert, with all of these like ambitiously placed meeples, is really not going to be able to leverage his meeple advantage, because with 17 tiles remaining, the window of opportunity looks like it's closing. Hi, Maris. So what he's going to do, a natural move to make is, well, actually, is to maybe go here to just get a meeple back. He's going to need them to fight for the field. This is also another opportunity. We just connect our smaller city with our opponent's bigger city, and then we're planning to finish the monastery later. But I feel like Bogdan can now inflict a lot of pain of Norbert's. Oh, like that. Oh, that is interesting. So now Bogdan's going to be fighting for a big ruin instead. Ha! Norbert just continues his city. Bogdan, of course, is going to go not here. I'm shocked at this. I think he should have gone over here to prevent Norbert from finishing the city and dropping a farmer. A quick point tile for red, probably going to go over here. But again, that field, the opportunity with the field is closing. A road monastery is not a tile to be dropping farmers, though, so a natural move is what we see. And game over successfully connects to the ruin, and he has like at least 15 points on it. Well, 15 points, 13 points, okay. And this is quite grim for Norbert, because he needs to equalize the ruin probably, and then find the meeples to equalize the field and possibly overrun the field. He's also in severe time trouble, so I wonder if he's going to be able to perform all the requisite tile counting. Yes, so we see a natural city invasion move. Game over with a restriction. There are still 2 tiles that fit into this square, but 2 is of course fewer than 4. Norbert's get himself a meeple back. I assume that Bogdan's going to go over here and try to get himself a monastery meeple back, or maybe go over here. Second alternative is to do something like this. And, well, this is a chance for Norbert. Like, I don't think he can do anything about this. In fact, I don't think it's something to worry about too hard, because there's almost no way for Bogdan to completely block the square. And Norbert goes for the field fight, which makes a lot of sense. He has to draw the last city cap for the fight to be successful, but I get to eat my words, because this city connection is getting blocked, and Bogdan is going to get away with all these juicy, juicy points. So then I question whether creating this ruin was a good idea in the first place. Maybe just finishing his city first, his monastery first, was a little bit better. Yeah, I don't really see a path to victory for Norbert here. So there are some ways to gain quick points. Maybe we can go here for 5, then we get a curve and we get 6 and a meeple back, but it just like doesn't appear that it's anywhere near enough. What else can we do? Well, given the fact that there's still 1 city cap remaining, we can be fairly confident that the field is going to be equalized. But is there a way for us to win the field? Well, if we do something crazy, like going here, dropping a farmer, hoping that our opponent draws something like a horse, and then they can't block, and then we draw a curve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but there are no curves remaining, which is a problem. And so Norbert's kind of like discards this tile, but that's not a discard. That's a setup, of course. He wants to go here. He wants to try and attack this ruin. Yep, that's his idea. And maybe that's his plan to have a chance in this game. Yeah, so Norbert is going to get himself some points here. He's going to drop a farmer, of course. This city is very, very nice. Not going to be quite enough to compensate the ruin. Crossroad tile for Bogdan without any particular possibilities. Well, Norbert gets the field connection, so that's something. Although, wait, does he even need it? Yeah, he does need it. It's going to be a 3-point move, I believe. No, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be more than that. Okay, that's something. For the first time in this game, Norbert is ahead on the scoreboard, but also he needs to be worried about his time. 14 seconds, 13 seconds, 12 seconds. And I hope he doesn't lose this game on time. I mean, he's going to lose in the board, but it's still better than losing on time. And 8 seconds, 7 seconds, he has to make a move. He has to claim a 3-point feature, which is exactly what he does, and with 2 seconds, with 1 second remaining on the clock. He actually manages to complete the game. So that's something. That is actually something. Unfortunately, I believe Norbert is going to lose this by a significant margin. Yeah, so 13 points is going to be the final difference. And this makes me think that despite a very nice start with the early blocking, Bogdan later with some timely field meeples and not being afraid to use his last meeple on numerous occasions, just managed to outplay the Latvian master. It's quite instructive, actually, because I think Norbert had all the resources that he needed to win. Like, he had all the platforms that he needed to secure the majority on the farm early on, but he just played a bit too normally, kind of just building cities and stuff. So this is the thing that you're supposed to be doing in the beginning of the game, whereas just being more proactive with the fields could have probably done it for the Latvian. All right, so we're going to be trying to get our revenge right there, right now. And it is quite fortunate that Norberts gets to be the starting player again, so wins this sort of coin flip. But what's not quite fortunate is that Bogdan already gets 2 monasteries. We are leading on the scoreboard, and that's very, very nice. But the monasteries are truly menacing. Fortunately, I believe that Bogdan has made an imprecision. This 5-point monastery is nowhere near as good as this potential 4-point monastery. I actually can't believe why Bogdan forwent this opportunity, like, because stacking is so incredibly powerful, whereas this is so-so. Bogdan builds up his monastery, and Norberts cannot do nothing about that. In fact, probably the only reasonable move for Norberts is to go over here and just continue his city. But then this creates some blocking opportunities against his city. So I wonder if Norbert's going to choose to do something like this. Yeah, I don't like it, but I understand it. The idea, of course, is not to help your opponent. The idea is just to disrupt synergy, also kill off a monastery spot, and then maybe look to block 1 or 2 of green meeples. So Norberts gets a meeple back and 6 points on the scoreboard, now is in the lead. Bogdan continues his road, and Norbert continues his city instead of starting a new one, which I do take some issue with. Okay, so now will Norbert find what I believe is his best move? Well, they're 2 reasonably good moves, but whatever Norberts does, it has to involve a farmer. The field is getting really, really good, and Bogdan is gonna... I was gonna say Bogdan's gonna recognize it. Okay, that's interesting. I'm surprised how nonchalant the players are about the field, which is going to grow to epic proportions soon enough. But yeah, with this move, I think this block is really not that strong. What Norbert should have done is just gone over here and dropped a farmer like this, whilst also annoying this here monastery. Yeah, I can't say I fully understand Norbert's moves. Bogdan gets to finish his here city. Again, this is a huge field which nobody wants to claim. Maybe now? I guess we could score these 4 points, but we could also score 0 points here and drop a farmer. Or we could also go here and drop a farmer. Yes. Yes, Norbert's realizing the issues from the previous games and being a bit more proactive with the farm. This does sacrifice a few city points, but it does appear to be worth it. Bogdan finishes a monastery for 9 points. He's now going to finish one of his roads as well. Norbert's with a monastery of his own for 6. And the field control and the temporary meeple advantage. There are only 2 tiles that fit into the square, so it's going to take a while for Bogdan to draw a tile that fits there. And after this city cap is taken, which could be right now, could be a little bit later, maybe it's better for Norbert to just cash in the points over here, not allow his city to be invaded, and then clean off this city caps a bit later than that. But let's say when somebody takes the 4 points over here, this will expose a blocking platform so that this square could be permanently blocked. Great move by Bogdan here, scoring 2 points whilst also disrupting the integrity of this here monastery. Straight line for Norbert. Not many options. He could go here, but he really shouldn't. There's maybe this move. It kind of restricts your own field, but as red, you shouldn't really care. Because yes, wow, I'm actually really impressed that Norbert's found that. So this is one of those rare cases where restricting your own field is not that bad, because the idea behind this move is twofold. Well, first of all, it creates a bit of pressure on this here square where Green's road is, but most importantly, it makes sure that whenever these 2 city caps are going to be cleaned up and somebody's going to score 4 points of them, it will not open fields connection platform. And so what Norberts can do, he can get a city cap here, get a city cap here, and then kind of just hold the control of this field with just one meeple, in theory. So we can see that Bogdan has dropped a 6-point farmer with a bunch of green squares. That's a strong move as well, with 3 meeples in hand. There's still one monastery remaining, a road monastery remaining, that should connect all the fields, although that would be more in Norbert's interest, given the fact that he's in with the meeple advantage. A very strong move here by Norbert, eyeing for one of the 5 remaining road Doritos, trying to complete a 10 or 12 point city, but it's not going to work, at least at first, because Bogdan has created a blocking threat and Norbert can't really defend. He could go over here and defend towards a 50-50, but if he goes here, then he needs the one remaining shieldless horse tile. And then he gives up 5 road Dorito tiles that fit there otherwise. So it's totally not worth it. And so I think it's really between 2 moves. Either Norbert goes here and uses this tile for indirect defense, which is exactly what he has done, or the alternative was to go over here and basically saying that, okay, I allow you to block me, but then I'm also going to block you. Ironically, a curvy tile does not fit here anymore, and Norbert could have used that for defense. I don't think that's much of a problem, though. I don't see really all that much that Norbert can do. Maybe going over here, giving his field some green squares sounds about right. Maybe I was gonna say going over here, attacking this field, but this field is now worth 6 points instead of the infinity points that it could be worth. And so Norbert just simply kind of restricts the field a little bit more. That makes a lot of sense. Bogdan scores 2 points and tries to expand a little bit, and a great tile for us. The Latvian is going to score 10 points for a city, which is also in his field, and now we have real chances to win this game. Bogdan, as usual, is very proactive with the field. He's going to sacrifice 2 quick points and be the first one to drop a farmer. And now Norbert has a decision. He takes 4 points, but I think it would not have been crazy for him to just drop a farmer, because this position is now just horrible for us. I think, again, this is a position where it was entirely reasonable for Red to sacrifice the points and just drop a farmer, because the field is lucrative with at least 15 points, but realistically 18, because now that the square is protected, the city is 75% likely going to be finished. And yeah, it's just going to make life pretty difficult for Red. And anyway, like, the field is big enough to be the game decisive feature, so maybe Red didn't need these 4 points that much. And I think, despite being more proactive with the field early on, it appears that Red is making the same strategical mistake as in last game, just prioritizing quick points a little bit too much. And it's still doable, but like, now Norbert is going to need to do a lot of work to even create a possible platform to connect to the field, let alone actually complete the connection. So what Bogdan can do about this? So Bogdan can just go here, for example, and maybe even start a new city. And the reason why I think the Romanian... Well, that's interesting. Why can't I understand this move? Oh wait, I can understand this move. Of course, he wants to create himself another route to enter the field. Yes. So he's developing contingency plans for the unlikely event that this dagger tile that fit into the square is never drawn. And then green will be able to enter the field like this without even getting 2 of his meeples back. Yeah, I can see that. And I guess the city cap needs to be meepled for insurance. Alrighty, so Norbert is trying to block this farmer, which makes a lot of sense. Bogdan does not really have a good defense. He can only go here for an indirect defense, and he needs to do some calculations as to which orientation is best. But this calculation is actually pretty easy. This orientation is, of course, best. It's not going to save him, as Norbert's will go here, and he will block this field entry. But the fact that he's thinking for a little bit long is kind of slightly alarming to me. Maybe he's considering something else. Maybe he's considering here and dropping a farmer, but we can always do that later. Bogdan is building a longish road, which he will be able to claim once he gets this here dagger tile. Norbert, for now, at the very least, has averted a disaster. The field is going to be equalized, and maybe Red, with his monstrous meeple majority, will be able to do something about the field in the future. Now, Norbert's is probably going to get his meeple back from the monastery now. Bogdan is trying to block everything. This, of course, will have the unfortunate downside of connecting a more lucrative city. A more lucrative city of Norbert's to the 1-point city of Bogdan. Okay, so the field connection has been completed, and also a 7-point road has been set up. So it looks like the game is equal on the scoreboard, but when Bogdan gets this dagger tile, he's going to get 4 points for the city, he's going to get 7 points for the road, he's going to score the 9 points for the monastery, 8 of which he already has, and this is going to add 20 points to his scoreboard. Latvian fans should be very, very worried about this. So how about my plan for winning this game? How about just for once we draw both daggers? Like 25% chance. It can totally happen. Let's do it. But also, there's one very cool thing that Norbert can do. I hope he notices this. Not with this tile, but if he gets something like a Rodorito, he can go here and drop a farmer like this. And then if the dagger is drawn, the unpleasant side effect is going to be that the red farmer is going to enter into the main field. Norbert is now scoring 4 points, which is exactly what he should do. It makes a lot of sense. The downside, of course, is that he will be expanding the little field of game over at the bottom. I assume that's Red's reasoning is that 1 green square is not such a big deal and is worth 4 points. Alrighty. Norbert now has the meeples and he can do stuff. Why don't we just take a risk and go here and drop a 0-point farmer? It could be blocked, but there are not many straight lines to complete the block. Please do it. Chickened out. Chickened out. Chickened out. Okay, so Norbert's got the first dagger, which is very nice. But yeah, I honestly wanted to see a red farmer there. Like, I think this threat of connecting to the field is annoying, even though it could be blocked. But since Norbert has so many meeples, he can afford to burn a few of them. Okay, so the first dagger has been blocked, has been drawn. How about that second dagger? Bogdan is trying to block. Okay, Norbert, please notice the move. Please notice the move that I was talking about earlier. But in the meantime, Bogdan, of course, is trying to prevent Norbert from finishing his city and dropping a farmer to equalize his little field. Like, I hope that Norbert notices the thing. There's only one platform. Yeah, the thing about the move that I'm suggesting is not just this is an insurance No, 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 no. No, 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 no. This is not how you play this position. This is not how you play this position. I think he just simply missed the platform. Honestly, I think it's a case of not noticing that the farmer goes over here. It is so powerful. Like, even if the dagger is not drawn, you can just connect through here, through a curve or a monastery. Ay, 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 ay. Norbert's not realizing that he desperately needs the field in order to win, and he's gonna again make a scoring move. He's gonna go here for 4 points probably, or this. Yeah, sure, it's a reasonable field restriction, but game over is now going to get the dagger and get the 20 points on the scoreboard. You see, but like, imagine if Norbert's had a meeple here. So Norbert's would have 18 points extra on the farm, which might have not even been enough to win the game, but I'm sad. Hi, Kirilo. I really hope that the situation is doing better on other tables. So, what can Norberts do? I think we need to do something desperate. Like, we need to maybe actually go here. It's very low prob, but at least it's some sort of field connection platform. Yeah, I don't know, man. No. Maybe, well, maybe just take the 4 points road and then try to do something later. I think I understand Norberts. I think his win condition in his mind is drawing a splitter like this and then trying to finishing his big city, maybe not realizing this is not necessarily enough. 4 quick points are scored. A straight line has been drawn. Passive voice has been used. I assume green might just go over here, blocking his own potential connection to this here city, but just trying to be a bit more secure with the field. Maybe with the farmer this move would have been quite nice, actually. From green's perspective, he doesn't need to win the field in order to win the game. But if he were to just create the threats and basically allow, well, not allow Norberts to use this platform himself, that I think that would be a bit better. Yeah, because given the one monastery remaining in the deck, unless one was discarded, but one, I don't think that was the case, then Norberts can get a road tile, drop a farmer like this, and connect quite easily. Quadruple city tile for the reigning Romanian vice champion. Oh, thank you, Kirilo, for saying that there are technical problems on the website where we have the results. So probably the match score is showing to you as 0-0. But we might just have to update it manually at some point. Well, in any case, let me just move the score a little bit here. It's so that you can also see the previous match histories on the right. Maybe that's going to be a bit more interesting for you. Although the previous match histories are also 0-0, so apparently the players have not played against each other. Oh, look at this, finally we have an update. So Michnia brings the first little point to Romania by defeating Apple G. And okay, Norbert finally finds a field connection. At least that's something. It's just gives him, how would I say this? It forces him to spend more time on connecting. But okay, we can live with that. Unfortunately, we don't get to monastery soon enough. But you know what? As Norbert, Why don't we get a little bit more desperate? And why don't we just go here? Because then it will allow us to connect through a divider tile, like through one of these guys, if you see what I'm saying. But Norbert decides that he needs to be a bit more efficient with point scoring because he needs to both win the field and catch up on the scoreboard, and Bogdan gets the monastery. And Norbert would have got himself the fields connection. Yeah. Wait, isn't there a vanilla city cap still? No, there isn't apparently. And Norbert's had 1 second on the clock anyway. That is a pity, as Norbert's will be losing his second game, and again, a winnable, very winnable game. I think, like, these 4 points was unnecessary greed for Norbert's. If only he were to drop a farm right here, I think Green would have been in miserable position. And the difference on the scoreboard is not going to be even, like, that big. Like 11 points or something. Which also makes me think that if only Norbert's were to have drawn a monastery over here, that also would have cut it. Plenty of missed opportunities, unfortunately. Minus 13, very painful defeat. 2 very winnable games, and you have to give props for Bogdan for being, like, always early on the field, always proactive, and despite being at a meeple disadvantage all the time, just didn't allow his opponent to use this advantage. So sadly, that's the first match point for Team Romania. Let's now go to a different duel and see how things are going with Napalm Eye. Anyone? Okay, maybe there's still some issues, so why don't we just do this manually? So Napalm Eye also lost the first game against Marian. And now we're in the second game, so it's a must-win for us to stay in it. But at first sight, it does not look great. Marian, with his bright yellow meeples, is 16 points ahead on the scoreboard, and Napalm Eye doesn't have any meeples in hand at all. It is probably for good reason, but the more I look at it, the more it seems to me that the meeples of blue are very precariously placed. There's of course a 6-point road waiting to happen. There's a 4-point city waiting to happen. Both vulnerable, restrictable, blockable, and all these things. There is a Dorito that blue needs to equalize this here city by Marian, but there are also 2 splitters. So if Marian does happen to have a tile like this, then he could win the game on the spot soon enough. Marian keeps restricting this poor little blue meeple. Now only 1 tile that fit into the square. It does also restrict his own monastery, but Marian doesn't care about getting meeples back since he has his own. Now, for Giannis, there's really only one move. We gotta delay this. I mean, this 8-point city is such a huge threat. I can't see anything better than this. So Giannis, with discipline, does exactly this. Marian can probably start poking holes in the city, but instead, he chooses to delay the recovery of this meeple. There's still 1 more tile remaining, like this. It's not a complete block, but blue is going to have severe meeple problems. Oh, the splitter happened. I kind of didn't register that. Yeah, this is painful. This is exceptionally painful. So, even if Napalm were to get a Dorito, and the city were to be equalized, it was still a difficult position for blue. But now that I see this, I'm pretty sure that yellow delivers his team a second match point. So this means that Latvia cannot afford to lose any more games. Now, how are we doing on other tables? I want to have a quick look at how Apple G is doing against Michnia, because she does need to win 2 games now. Oh, look at this. So she won the second. Okay, that's something. So if she wins this third one, then Latvia is still in it. Okay, and this is looking pretty good for Egita. She has 2 of her trademark yellow meeple against one of Michnia's reds. The red meeples are mostly well invested, like over here to these 2 monasteries. There is, however, this here red meeple, which is blocked. Red also making not the best move here, developing a shared field when he's at a meeple disadvantage, and now putting himself at a 0 versus 2 temporarily. I'm pretty sure that Egita is now going to go here and break the city. Yes, this is exactly what she does. Oh, it's so annoying for the Romanian. Egita continues her road. I would have maybe even be a bit... Now she can score 4 points over here. I hope she notices that. Michnia is preparing to get his monastery meeple back. This will put him temporarily ahead on the scoreboard. But 4 points for yellow are going to be helpful. Just as Mr. Nicolescu was going to complete a 14-point city, Miss Apple chimes in just in time with an invasion. And Michnia has no choice but to lose value. Completed cities, but no meeple to score 4 points. Egita gets herself a meeple back, now 10 points on the scoreboard. Michnia also with a meeple back and 9 points extra gained from a monastery. Curvy tile for Egita, variety of moves possible. So she could go here, kind of going for an 8-point loop road, and I believe there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, still 2 straight lines remaining with 9 tiles remaining. It's really solid. She could, I guess, go here, which would fully block this monastery, but it's probably not the priority. And this was my third option, which I quite like. A 3-point farmer threatening an invasion. And even if it's not successful, it's going to force Michnia to spend some tiles and resources onto preventing it. So let's say if he goes here, there's still going to be 1 curve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, 1 curve remaining that fits there. Egita now also is trying to complete this here road. Unfortunately, Michnia gets the curve. He's probably going to go here to get 1 point for himself. So this farmer will be stuck with 3 points only. There are also no road monasteries remaining to fit into that square, so that is blocked. City cap for Egita, and now real decision needs to be made. I really hope that with 5 tiles remaining, she forces herself to spend more time on this. And, well, there were several options. This is not necessarily bad as just getting 1 point, but maybe just going over here, dropping a city cap in her field, or maybe being a bit more crazy and going over here for a 4-point city with a potential to complete it. I didn't quite go through all the tiles, but I believe there's a dagger remaining to make that happen. Maybe this was a possibility. Michnia with an invasion and a dagger for Apple. She's now going to drop a farmer, of course. Please do, please do, please drop a farmer. Please remember to drop a farmer. Because, yes, well done. Because otherwise she would risk a meeple surplus. Michnia unfortunately completes an invasion. Oh, this is so sad. But can we complete a re-invasion? Apparently not, decides Apple G, as she simply equalizes the city at the top. This big here city is going to belong to Michnia. Well, Apple has herself some points on the scoreboard. But I believe the ruinage is going to be a little bit too big. A little bit too big. -10 is Apple G at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. And -10 is not something that you can make up in one move. I'm starting this morning with a lot of pain, but I will be maybe even more motivated for the matches that I have to play against RCP in Hungary. Okay, wait. So Apple G, she takes 5 points. But did we just have a win? So with this here tile, why did she not just go over here to try herself a 50-50 chance to invade this big ruin? I think it would have been enough for her to win. Yes, according to my calculations, which may or may not be correct, if Egita does not connect here, if she goes here, and invades the city and successfully draws the last horse tile, then she wins +1. Let's triple check that a little bit later. We know now for sure that unfortunately Latvia has lost this match, at least 3-0. And Napalm Eye's game is also coming quite close to its conclusion, but tiebreakers are also important for the group standing, so there's still stuff left to fight for. Probably the best chance for Latvia is on table 1, but I'm going to see how Dirty Old Town is doing. Maybe you already saw that. Yeah, so they won. Okay, well, there's something. Against Arenu 100, so Latvia is on the board, and finally, has Krishna completed his game? Yes, Krishna has also won. Oh, so actually what you witnessed right now was the decider. Unless Giannis somehow finds a comeback, which seems like a stretch. Wait, let's look at this. Because the score is 2-2 now. Oh no, the score is not 2-2. No, the score is 2-2, yeah, because I should not have discounted Giannis too soon, I guess. Well, isn't that interesting? Well, there's actually not all that much that Giannis can do here, I think, either. He's still behind. And he still has, like, blocked meeples and stuff. Marian gets himself the 4 points, unites the field. Well, this gives Giannis a chance to score 12 by going here and then drawing something to connect here or here. Ooh, Marian is also in time trouble. How about we win on time? Oh, that would be nice. Oh, that would be so nice. Somebody get Marian distracted. So Nepamai blocks a long road. Marian scores 6 points for the city, and I presume this is the tile that Nepamai wanted to have. Well, we now know that he would have connected to the field if he were to have gone over here and then over here. Maybe he decided that the connection would not have been enough. We'll have to look at that a little bit later. We'll have some time to study these endgames. Yeah, so there we go. Here comes the invasion. Maybe a little bit too late. But I presume that there must be a tile that allows them the connection. Yeah, there is. Marian with a slight imprecision, actually. What Marian should have done, he should have gone over here for 4 points and spent his last meeple knowing that Yanis is going to give him a meeple back. So a 15-point field for Nepamai is going to be a nice consolation prize. I don't think overall it should be enough, but honestly, credit to my teammates is he did manage to get a lot done in this game. He was like down -40 or something. So what is going to be the final score after all? Only -8. Only -8. Will you look at that? Yeah, so definitely a lot of credit for Yanis to delivering the team, almost delivering the comeback. But even more credit to Team Romania for getting their first win in their championship, and with that, their revenge for the bronze medal match in 2023. Now, going back to that endgame, did we actually have a chance? I want to really analyze this. So let's just view the game replay. Well, not the all game replay. Maybe let's just go to like move 130. Hi, Nepamai. All right, so this is the situation. Okay, so if we were to not go with this tile over here, right? So what would happen? So in the game, I believe we lost -8. So let's say this tile is not here. So we go here and we draw a horse. What would this score us? Now, in the game, Yellow scored, first of all, what was this? So she united her 2-point city with Red's 6-point city. So this is a move worth +4. And if she were to get this here tile, and then later when she got the cow or the horse, she scored 5 points over here. Well, you're going to see that in a second. So she scored 9. What if she would have gone over here? So she would have just essentially equalized the ruin. Yellow didn't have an opportunity to score at all, in fact. And how much is the ruins worth? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that would have been a 16-point move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14. I just want to triple check everything, right? I like to count the shield first. So the shields are 12 and the regulars are 4. So it's a 16-point city, which we equalize. Our opponent could not score with the final tile. So we could have gotten ourselves 8 points more than in the actual game, because also this dagger, this 1 extra point, this would not have occurred. So let's see if these 8 points would have been sufficient. Well, this is a relief at least. So with 8 extra points, which Egita could have scored, we would have tied the game, but she would have still lost because in case of a tie, the starting player loses the game and the player who went second wins the game. And so the win would have been awarded to Michnia regardless, making the loss honestly just even more painful. So at least that's a bit of a relief. And tough loss, tough loss. Fortunately, we got some tiebreakers out of it, and all we have to do is just get a couple of wins against Germany, Hungary, RCP, and then we can still be through to the playoffs. So I will be... Oh, you know what? Whilst we are here, I just want to see if there are any interesting matches still going on, and in fact there are. How about we just have a look at Croatia versus Catalonia, and just to have ourselves a little bit of entertainment before the next round. So Croatia has already gotten themselves 2 points, and Alberto KB is trying to keep his team's chances alive against Lilium 510. Will that going to work? Unlikely, since Lilium just scored herself a big ruin, which, by the way, could have easily been blocked. Like, this here tile, just go over here for 3 points and not allow blue to take this gigantic ruin. I wonder if that's going to be game decisive or not. It could be. So it was overall an 8-point mistake from Alberto by my calculations. And at least the relief here is that 8 points would have been nowhere near enough. So I understand why the play with the red meeples wouldn't bother. And with that, we actually congratulate Croatia. Croatia has won the match against Catalonia, at least 3-1. So maybe let's look at what else is going on. And I mean, Blue State is still playing. I expect Blue State to be a massive, massive favorite against Nyango Flow. Now, this is just for the tiebreakers, as Croatia has already won the match, and as predicted, Blue State is like 10 points ahead on the scoreboard. I think there's also more stuff on the board as well, but we'll just have a look at the final calculations. So yeah, some significant fields are being scored, and they are all pretty much in the Croatians' favor, with some teeny tiny exceptions. So it's a pretty convincing win for Blue State, and a really convincing win for Team Croatia, 4-1. What other results do we have? Ukraine still playing against France. Spain, Belgium, Greece, and Spain, United Kingdom. Okay, Greece has won against Belgium. That's a bit of a surprise. So how did that go? Oh, look, Greece has won against Belgium without even their superstars Pantelis Litsardopoulos game on table 2 being even finished. So that's quite interesting. Spain against United Kingdom is still going on. So how is Lazy Boar doing against Vaju 13? That would be quite interesting. Oh, Vaju just won. So then what? Our only remaining game is Fanatical Lime versus Alberto BG. And this is, yeah, this is the decider for all the marbles, okay. And they still have 12 tiles to play now. Fanatical Lime, that's Chris Tucker, the brother of the 2023 World Champion Matt Tucker, is doing pretty well. First of all, they're 10 points ahead on the scoreboard, and second, they just drew the crucial tile that Alberto, a player with whom I'm not that well familiar, needed to take the lead in this game. Of course, it fits nicely to finish a gigantic, well, for this board, gigantic city worth like 20 points or something. Or 18 points, I believe. Well, the saving grace for Alberto is that there's actually one of these tiles still remaining in the deck. So that is quite nice for them. What can Chris do here? Maybe going over here, just taking 3 points, trying to boost his scoreboard enough so that he can withstand the completion of the city, theoretically. An alternative is to do something more aggressive. Place his last meeple here for 4 points and hope to get a curve to connect for a 7-point road, and he goes precisely for the aggression. And wait. I'm a bit actually surprised by that move. I wonder why he just didn't simply choose to go here and connect his farmer. Did he forget? Did he just like forget that his farmer wasn't yet connected? Well, that's interesting. Well, he gets himself a 7-point road anyway. 17 points is very nice to have on the scoreboard. And I see that yellow is preoccupied a lot by not allowing a second meeple, a second blue meeple on the field. But what does it matter if the field still belongs to blue regardless? And we can see how Chris is... I don't get any of that. I don't think I quite follow the player's decisions here. Well, I guess one thing that I start to understand is maybe Chris is feeling just super greedy. And the reason why he wanted to score this road first is because he figures that, you know what? He can draw the last starting tile and just connect here later. But we also know that Chris needs himself ideally this here tile, because if Alberto draws the last remaining Dorito, Alberto's gonna be in the lead. Like, the city's 20. And it comes with a 6-point farmer. Okay, Chris has a 9-point field. That's actually very nice for him. Yeah, Chris still has, like, a lot of stuff. But if Alberto draws, like, a farmer right now, and then maybe takes this ruin, it's going to be close at the very least. This is not what I expected. So the idea of Chris is to actually play some sort of a Counter-Strike idea. So he assumes that, let's say if Alberto does get the critical tile and drops a farmer here, then Fanatical Lime is more likely to draw one of the remaining city caps. There's a starting tile and I believe something else that also suitable to complete the city, something like a dagger. In fact, yes, there's indeed a dagger. So maybe that is his idea, which actually makes a lot of sense because it's going to be a 9-point move. Oh, but you know what? Then no worries. No worries are needed. For Chris here, as he simply is going to draw the critical tile for blue, and blue is just not going to have enough points. Yes, blue is going to maintain the control of his field because of this nice counter farmer over here, and the idea is that if Fanatical Lime draws the last starting tile, then of course it connects both the yellow and the blue meeple to this main field. The main field has 1, 2, 3, 4 completed cities on it, so quite lucrative with 12 points. But Chris's field scores 9 over here for these here 3 cities. So this farmer is really good enough. And that's also actually quite a nice, precise move by Fanatical Lime. I was gonna say, but he sort of jeopardizes his own city, actually. So maybe that wasn't... Actually, no, he doesn't jeopardize anything. I think that move made a lot of sense. He figured that he can just score 1 point and it should be enough. Yeah, a bit of an unorthodox idea that Chris had for the entire pre-end game, but if it works, it works. Of course, quite fortunate to draw all the Dorito tiles, but then even if Alberto were to draw the Dorito tile, yellow would still have chances by drawing something else. So let's see in a second what the final score is. 12 points for the main field, as predicted. 9 points for the secondary field for yellow, and a confident win of +18. So the UK has done it yet again. They have defeated Team Spain and have made it much more likely that they're going to progress to the next stage. Let's do a little update. Yeah, this is going to be reflected very, very soon on the score. Well, Ukraine has already defeated France quite predictably. Maybe France is going to do something on table 1. We can have a look at this. All other matches are pretty much concluded. You can see that on the screen, so we can have a look if France managed to get at least 1 point in this. They're currently in game 2. Samuelson lost the first one to Boylem. The second one does indeed look a little bit better. So Samuelson's playing the red meeples with 2 extra points on the scoreboard. Boylem with the camouflage green, which should be illegal, and in fact is, at the in-person World Championship. Yeah, Boylem is in a massive pickle. The main problem in the position of the play with the green meeples are these here 2 road guys, which are just almost trapped to the square. There's only one tile that fits there, so green will need to draw that pretty soon. Samuelsson, of course, has a trapped meeple as well, with one square completely blocked. But then there are enough city squares to just keep growing that ruin for, I don't know, 10, 12, 13 points. And there are quite a lot of expansion tiles, like the quadruple city tile is still there, 2 cows are still there, extenders are still there. So, like now, Samuelsson can just do something like this. It's just amazing for him. Oh wait, never mind. Samuelsson has an open city, so we just go here. Yeah, pretty easy decisions. Boilem now tries to save his city meeple, which is actually quite smart, because there was a threat of this guy being permanently blocked. Now at least there are 3 tiles that fit into that square. But Samuelsson is now going to keep abusing this square by probably going over here and then maybe blocking the connection here and making sure that even after this square is occupied and this 4-point road is scored, that the green meeple is going to be trapped. So Samuelsson chooses a different approach, which makes a lot of sense. Fortunately for Boilem, he draws the single best tile in the deck that he could have drawn. And now he's going to have genuine chances. He sets himself up for a 10-point city or a 12-point city with a shield plus a 4-point road. So this here area, there are 14 points waiting to happen. And then Boilem's going to be at like 30 against 18. So Samuelsson just uses his meeple advantage to build stuff on the right. Takes a 10-point lead on the scoreboard. Some much needed quick points for Boilem, who's only playing with 1 meeple here. Also quick points for Samuelsson. Some easy decisions for the Ukrainian. Now straight line for green. It's something to think about. Several moves in mind. We could either just get a monastery point and try to maybe develop this here area, get some meeples back. Or we could do this, which also makes a lot of sense because it prevents organic growth of the city. And actually, it creates some nice opportunities for us. So our next move is Boilem. We get to go here with pretty much any tile, get ourselves a monastery point. Yeah, let's just do it right now. Let's just go here. Yeah, exactly. This is very smart from the Frenchman. And then we try to create a permanent block against this square, which I'm pretty sure Samuelsson is not going to allow. Okay, there we go. So green gets the crucial tile. Very nice to have. The only question after we go over here is, do we take a 3-point road or do we drop a 6-point farm? The 6-point farm does indeed look like it has more prospects with 2 completed cities, chances to connect to a couple of more cities through this here area, and of course an abundance of green squares for further development. Red with a monastery and still the meeple advantage could do a lot of useful things. One option is maybe to go here for 4 points or here for 4 points, just equal as green in this here area. Or just go here for 6, or just go here for 6 to drop a farmer. This is what red decides. Wants to maybe drop another farmer over here and so on and so on. Speaking of which, is it crazy to go here right now as green? I don't think it's crazy. I think it actually works pretty well. So first we'll go here for 3 points. We have, well, not like that. No, it's nice and risky and everything, and of course the idea is that we can get a curve, I assume, and make some sort of connection, but I don't like it. I think this move was a little bit stronger, because there are a couple of tiles that fit into this square to unite all fields. There are a couple of vanilla city caps. There's a monastery, road monastery remaining. And even if we don't successfully connect, there's a starting tile to score a city. There's a vanilla cap to score another city, and so on and so on. The advantage of this move is that it's still an annoying threat to deal with. it's still possible to complete that threat, and there are still the 2 city caps for scoring for Boilem. And also if Boilem gets not 1 but 2 Doritos with a road, the second Dorito goes here for a 3-point road, city equalization, and 3 extra points for this here farmer. So no, it's a move with a lot of merit. It is certainly an entertaining move. Samuelson is thinking, and so am I. What can we do here? Well, a bunch of things. There are some triple cities remaining, and I'm looking at this here area, so this looks like an appealing move for 6 points, and then trying to develop something here. Then there's this. This, of course, is actually quite strong. Cleaning off 1 city cap, trying to get ourselves an 8-point city. I presume Boilem's going to say that ain't gonna fly. And so we're going to go here. Actually, we have to go here and try to severely limit the number of tiles that fit here to just 1. Yeah, so if we go here, then there's only 1 dagger remaining that fits into this square. A dagger which red already needs in this here area. And the Frenchman seems to have actually very good time management here. 6 minutes is about the number of minutes that you want to have remaining at this stage of the game. So he can afford to think this through for some more 30 seconds, do some tile counting to double check. I did that. Actually, but the tile count is pretty easy here, because we discussed the whole thing with the starting tiles earlier, so we know that this is the last one. There are no roses because of this critical situation. And all we need to do is just to count the daggers. Well, there's 1, 2, and there's no third one. At least the daggers of this kind. So if we go here, then we know that there's only 1 city cap here and 1 city cap here. So that's Sophie's choice block. And the reason we have to do that, well, if we don't, then Sammy is going to draw something as simple as a regular vanilla city cap and score 8 points and maybe even drop a farmer. And we don't want that if we care about France at all. And finally he finds it. Ooh, and he even chooses to place a meeple, so maybe that was what he was thinking about. Is it worth to place a meeple? I don't think so, actually. I think the meeple's a bit extra. Precisely because of that. Precisely because of that. 4 points, unfortunately, wasted by Boilem. And he's also going to now lose his meeple again. Yeah, generally, meepling city caps is super important at the start of the game. Or it's important at any stage of the game if there are a lot of city caps in the deck, or like if you have a lot of meeples. But if you have just 1, then maybe not. But Boilem gets himself a nice tile for city expansion, and in theory he can still complete it. Despite this restriction, this here threat is going to be quite annoying. I am a bit actually alarmed at the Frenchman time management, because this looks like a no-brainer move. And like, I guarantee you this is the move that he's going to end up playing. But then why bother spend so much time? Is he genuinely considering different ideas? Like going on the left and invading the ruin? But the ruin's not big enough to justify this. Because if we go here, we immediately get 3 points with no investment of a meeple. And there's still a threat of potentially finishing that city, believe it or not. Yeah, look at this. So the move has been made. Like, why it was worth a minute on the clock, I don't quite fully imagine. Maybe some issues outside of Carcassonne that needed to be addressed. Sammy now with a trickier position, with a straight line. Really not that many things that he can do. We'll maybe go and restrict one of these 2 squares to avert a disaster. And he does exactly that. So now, I was going to say this is a real decision for Boilema, because he needs to decide, do I just treat my city as ruin, or do I place the quadruple city tile something else and preserve the threat to complete the city? He figures that completing the city is not important. And actually, it wasn't even possible anyway, because certain daggers are just no longer available. Yeah, so there is nothing really suitable for this tile, so this move actually makes a lot of sense. And then Boily here managed to get a reasonable value at this stage of the game. Sammy is 7 points behind. He has a nice ruin, but overall his position is like it's not that great. So what could Sammy do? Well, my number one idea is maybe we don't do anything in particular, like we just go here, get ourselves an extra point, and then we simply bet our game on drawing the last dagger, which allows us to go here, go for a 6-point farm or a 4-point shroud, and this will probably compensate for the 7-point difference. On the other hand, we could do something more extravagant. We can actually go here and drop a farmer, hoping to get one more city cap and win the field for 12 points. That could be something nice. The reason why I wouldn't be too precious about my last meeple in a position like this, and by the way, another option how we can drop our last meeple productively is just to go here for 6 points, and then even have a third city cap in our field, which we could use. And the reason why I don't want to be feeling particularly precious is because I know that there's still 2 row Doritos, and since green is incentivized to use a row Dorito here, to score 3 points for the city connection, 3 points for the field, and 3 points for this, then I know that I'm going to be given a meeple back soon enough. So I actually think that Sammy should have either gone here or gone here, and this move is just a little bit too slow, even though I perfectly understand this. So this move is just setting a city cap, and the idea is that maybe as Sammy we get the dagger, we get the 6 point here, and then we get a city cap, a vanilla city cap, and we get like a 9-point field. And we also expand our field from 6 points to 9 points. Yeah, so it's certainly a significant threat. Boylem with a powerful tile, though, scores himself 4 points, although this was not the only opportunity. Actually, I think as Boylem, it was not crazy to simply go here, get 1 point, but this would be a contingency plan against the dagger, because that would put the dagger in the field of our opponent. 11 points on the scoreboard are difficult to overcome, but Sammy's setting up the completion of the city, and Boylem gets the last dagger. So this meeple shall not see the light of day. Oh, interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, is there a curve? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So apparently there's a curve. So green is setting up the connection to this here red guy. There's just too many threats to deal with. This threat, this threat, this threat of drawing the city cap and connecting the fields. I feel like Boilem has this one in the bag. And Samuelson is in severe trouble anyway. Like 1 minute is not enough to exhaustively calculate a 4-tile endgame. Yep, Boyle now is going to score a lot. 3 points for the road, 3 points for the equalization, and 3 points for getting his farmer from 0 points to 3. So will Sammy at least draw a city cap? And he does not. He gets, of course, his 6 points. Boyle with a curve cannot do nothing much. Well, actually, he can. Yeah, he can, of course, connect for 5 points. And Sammy now is going to go here for 6. Oh, yeah, this is better. This is better. So we end up with a 12-point shared field. It's actually quite exciting how a lot of points got scored towards the very, very end. The Frenchman is going to take this down. I'm not sure exactly about the point difference. We're going to find out that in a second. I'm a bit puzzled by the cryptic dots. Placed in the chat by Boilem. I'm not sure exactly what they're supposed to mean. But what I am sure is that the play with the green meeples has taken this game down with a 9-point difference, and poor Samuelson got boiled 2-0. Not something that you Ukrainians expected, so their tiebreaker will suffer a little bit, but still overall confident 4-1 win puts them in a commanding position to qualify for the playoffs. Before breaking, let's just have a look at the standings real quick. I'm not sure if the updates are going to be that quick. Yeah, so it's probably going to take a while. So I'm just going to leave you with the results. The winners are Finland, Ukraine, Hungary, Romania, Croatia, Poland, Greece, United Kingdom. And that's it. That was the first round for you. Now, this is the list of matches in the second round. Of course, we will be prioritizing Latvia against Germany. And this will be in 24 minutes. And the stream is going to commence in 19 minutes. So just, if you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe to this channel and look out for the link to the next stream, which is going to appear shortly. Thomas in the chat is suggesting that maybe the dots were a reaction to the overall score Ukraine against France. Yeah, that would make more sense. But still, credit goes to Boilem for defending France's honor, at least for now. And we're going to take a break. Again, a separate live stream is starting 18 minutes from now. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see you very soon.